Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. So we have been talking so far about the demiurge and the role that the demiurge is playing as serving as a lesser version of God or God's kingdom. In Kabbalistic teaching, that lesser version of God, what they call the little face of God, is called Zerapin. Zerapin is the shield of David in the Kabbalah, and that symbol represents a smaller version of God, a lesser version of God, that someone who is in a fixed, singular time-space location that is not multidimensional and uh, uh, that is not everywhere in the universe simultaneously can comprehend. So I don't want you to discount. I'm saying this because I want to say what I'm saying about the demiurge very specifically and very intentionally. I don't want you to think that all of the dreams or meditation and prayers or that you're getting about, for example, waking up in the morning and calling your creator or your God and doing a prayer to it, an intention, and feeling this incredible whoosh of goodness coming toward you and feeling completely illuminated, that it is wrong. Okay? What I'm saying is that that experience, as big as it is a lesser light. That there is something far greater behind that experience that you still need to emancipate into. Okay? It means that you're going to have to figure out the bridge that will pass the Serapin. Again, the Serapin is a protection system that shields you from a higher version of God. That if average people on the planet, again, singularities, ego, id, focus, singularities of awareness in a point in space. If we were to experience this, most of us would not be able to handle it. And therefore, it protects us and giving us a lesser version of what God is. That's a Serapin. This is the role that the demiurge is playing. It's holding the Serapin in place. The Serapin is a reflection of the true light. Now, in the Gnostic teaching, they are much more severe with them, with the aversion, and they say that the Serapin is conceit. It's not a true light. I wouldn't say that. I would say that the Serapin, the demiurge, and the experience that the demiurge bring is reflected light, which means that when you look at the sun brightness can cause you to be blind if you face it directly. A lot of time, you have to experience the sun reflectively so that you can begin to see it. This is why we wear sunglasses. This is why we wear hats. This is why we wear all of the things that we do, because the direct connection to that light could blind us. So the demiurge play the role of creating the mirrors to deflect the direct connection. Now, the Serapin, as long as it's in place and you're inside the mirror, the Serapin will try to hold you there as a way to protect you, even when you try to transcend it, to try to see the light and emancipate and go into the luminosity by itself, it will still try to resist you. I want you to understand that part as well, that the Serapin will create fear-based situation that will cause you to begin to doubt yourself and say, no, I shouldn't even try to move me on the Serapin because it's heresy, or discount the Serapin altogether, all the experience of the demiurge that you previously had. What I'm saying to you is that when you have a mirror and the sun shines in it, and the sun reflects the light. The mirror reflects the light. The light that's reflected is still light, but it is inverted light, meaning left become right, right become left. It's inverted. It is not the true nature of the light, but it is a close approximation to it, what in the Gnostic teaching they call simulacrum. It is a very close approximation to it. So do not discount the experiences that you're having. As we are now transcending to move at the last test before ascension, we have to break the zapping. We have to move beyond the urge and realize that anything that creates linear relationship between you and your higher power, meaning I have a God that comes in, or an angel that comes in and illuminates me from above. I have an ascended master that comes and illuminates from above. What we're doing now with the practice of the torsion field is that we are trying to transcend all of this by becoming the light itself, by dissolving and becoming lucid in the light itself. In other words, instead of the light above me, a higher being, a celestial being, illuminating me, me being a fragmented human being, I will get myself to a point where I am inside the luminosity. It's no longer directional, like I'm looking at the sun in the sky and it's directed toward me. I find myself suddenly inside the sun, inside the luminosity. Because in truth, God, or the luminosity, is everywhere, is also inside of you. To experience God outside of you and have the light come toward you is not the essence of being. It's not the way it really is. It's a reflection. The way it really is that because God is everywhere, God is in you. And you should experience God around you, completely encompassing you. And that's what I'm trying to lead you into this final test by focusing on the torsion field. It's not that you should throw out these experiences you're having that are linear. I have them as well. Every once in a while, I get up where I feel I'm completely blessed and I'm embraced by all this light, and I'm very grateful for those. But I still sit in prayer and meditation after I might do my torsion field, and I ask myself, what am I not seeing? Because that experience is still enclosed in the bubble of the Serapin. So there is something else that's beyond it. What am I not seeing? What am I not feeling? What am I not perceiving? What am I not hearing? And as I do this and I allow space between each one of them, since energy doesn't lies, the energy never lies. So all of a sudden I begin to feel, sense, and note all kinds of swirling sensations that are moving about me. Now, I want to focus. Any questions, any comments about this, by the way, before we move on? I wanna also bring to your attention the torsion field that we're doing and how we're doing the torsion field, because wherever your focus and your attention goes, that's where your awareness is. So if your attention is in the linear story, a linearity, higher God, I need to do this, that, or the other. I need to change that or the other. I need to keep fixing this and changing that. And the story never ends and ends and ends. You're going to be trapped into the storyline, particularly if you're a doer and you feel like you have to keep on doing and doing and doing and doing. It's never going to end. This is when you exist as a singularity and your awareness is focused on a storyline. what you should emancipate into understanding is that as I'm guiding you to do the torsion field, and please understand why I'm saying to do it 3 times a day. I'm trying to tell you that with this practice in a short time, and I'm talking, it will not take you even a month if you're doing it the way I'm saying it to you. Not even 9 days. If you give yourself 9 days of doing it really 3 times a week, the way I'm asking you to do, you will notice dramatic changes in everything around you. Dramatic. Okay? The first torsion field, okay, is a gift that comes from the Guardian Alliance of Light member that exists in the 4D, the fourth dimension. That being projects his own antaharana onto you and shares with you the neutrality that it knows. It comes from the core of the earth, counter-rotating, moving to the bottom of your feet, your core, exiting at the top of your fourth-dimensional body, creating filaments all around you. A torsion field is created, rotating counterclockwise. As it creates it, you're going to be very aware not only of your core and central axis, meaning that it's moving to the bottom of my feet, passing through me, but it's creating the filaments, and I'm very aware of the filament and how far does it go? Does it go into my neighbor's apartment? Does it go into the next house? Is it down the block? How big is it? Let it organically, when you sense how you're trying to find the filaments, let it organically fall wherever it may fall. Then the axis above you extends, the next guardian comes top of the fifth dimensional body. This time rotating clockwise, passing through your core, exiting at the bottom of your feet, and the filament goes from the bottom of the core of the earth, wrapped around you, and create a torsion field, rotating in the opposite direction. Every time that happens, you're losing your grip in yourself being a singular expression in a singular location of time and space. Because the higher density being or sharing with you, they're overlighting you. They're projecting onto you the awareness and the essence and the feeling of what it feels like to exist in their world. Because of that projection, it's going to shift your awareness, and gradually, as the next one gets nested and the next one and the next one, you're going to get to a point where you will no longer exist as a singularity. You will still be conscious, but you will no longer exist as a singularity. You will exist now as a plurality or as a collective awareness, in collective awareness. You will tap into collective awareness. I want you to know that when I'm doing this by myself, and even when I'm guiding you in meditation, I use my fingers, first guardian, second, third, because a lot of time myself, when I'm guiding you into it, the energy is so powerful, I'll get to the sixth guardian or the eighth guardian, all of a sudden, like this, I black out. Meaning the energy is so powerful that my ego that still exists in 3D, that's trying to process the shift that I'm feeling, loses consciousness for a moment. And when I come back, I don't remember where I was, unless I'm like, oh, this is the seventh guardian, or this is the eighth guardian. Okay? So this is cheating, but it's not cheating. This is just golden nugget of information for us. If you're doing it by yourself, to do this as well, because it will help you. If you don't have the recording and you're doing it alone and you're trying to remember, move your fingers so that you can know which guardian that you're in. Because at some point, you may have that experience for a moment, you temporarily pass, you black out for a moment. And when you come back, you're not going to remember where you are. So that way you remember, this is the guardian that I was with. And then you can move forward. What I want to add here is as follows. The Guardian Alliance of Light and what they are bringing, particularly with they're expanding our awareness, and now we're giving attention. Remember I was saying that wherever you put your attention, that's where you go? You are giving your attention now to the volume that the torsion field that you're in, and that the torsion field that is being created around you, the volume that you now exist in. First one, second one, third one. And as you're putting your attention into this, you're no longer thinking about the linearity of your relationship to a superior being. You're just focusing of yourself existing in a higher density as the torsion field keeps creating around you. By the way, the torsion field is the mechanic through which the entire universe is created. It is the holographic universe. Everything exists in a torsion field when you get it to the bottom of everything. And what happens is that at some point while you're doing the practice, you're going to get to a moment where suddenly you're going to have, you're already having it. You just don't have the syntax and the language to express it. And since I'm a little bit ahead of you, I am sharing with you the language and the vocabulary that I have over many, many, many years, 15 years, figure out a way to express. Okay? A lot of you, after you do the torsion field, you don't have words to explain where you are and what you're feeling. You're inside an immense volume. Okay? And you're in a transcendental state where you're no longer a singularity of being, but you're now you're experiencing things in a very different way. Bobby, a couple of weeks ago, had experienced something, and I'm going to share that and what someone else also experienced to explain to you. It's not just coming from me. The people who are in the group who are doing this work are actually experiencing it too. She had said she feels like she's swimming. She thought that she was swimming. Everything inside the torsion field, when you get to the highest level and you enter into the blessed field, is liquid. It feels like waves, and I keep talking about all the time. It feels like I'm at the seashore and I feel a wave of energy splashing me. It's energetic and it feels very fluidic and very liquid. When I do celestial light healing on people, a hands-on healing, what I'm doing with the torsion field technology, it feels like liquid, like gushes of water are passing, coming from the torsion field right into my hand, into the person's body. It's very liquid. It feels liquid. And if you're feeling liquid, you're on the right, you're doing it right. Another student also 2 weeks ago had that experience. Like after we did the torsion field, which we're going to be doing in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, the student felt like, and I've been saying this for many years, and she had experienced it herself for the first time, that all of a sudden, she thought that she was seeing too much, because the questions we create after we do the torsion field, what am I not seeing? Because whatever you're sensing or experiencing, your body, your 3D self who's still conscious, is trying to figure out a way to process it. Okay? But it is so unlike anything that's 3D that you have to create a bridge to connect to that experience. You're touching the realm of non-existence. It's a form of existence that's so unlike anything that you know that it doesn't exist by your rules. It exists by its own separate, completely category and rules. So when you arrive in that place, the syntax, the grammar, the vocabulary, and everything else, it's going to feel like fluids might be floating around you, like you're getting expanded and all these things are splashing about you. If you're experiencing this, you're in the right place. You're there. And in the case of the student, she said, because she's much more visual, she didn't have clairaudience like me, she has clairvoyance. And she said, I felt like I was seeing too much. And all of a sudden, there were 8 things that were happening simultaneously around her. 8 separate visions that she had, almost like a fan. And I always describe this as a fan because it feels like a fan. Like I have, and what she said, that about 2 or 3 of them were very clear, while the other ones were a little bit fuzzy. That's when you begin to realize you're seeing multiple timelines and multiple places at the same time. You're now a plurality. At that moment, you exist as multiple body of yourself experiencing everything all at once. And again, I don't want you to think that's just because I'm special, I've been doing this for so long. All of you will grow into this. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. Trust me on that one. It doesn't take long. It takes discipline and it takes a dedication of time for you to do this. And as you do it, you're going to step into it. And when you get into it, burdens that you didn't know you had are going to be dissolved. Because the field that you go into, that fluidic, immense space that you go into, the moment you start stepping in, she starts stepping into it by her vision. Other people is clairsentient, they feel it. Like I am more clairaudient and clairsentient. I feel the energy and I hear at time. And for me, the hearing was the way for me to get in. I'm like, what am I not hearing? What am I not hearing? And I begin to hear this pitch, the sound in the background, and then, of course, sounds of the street, sound of the apartment, all that. And then beyond it, after a few days of doing the same practice over and over again, all of a sudden I'm beginning to realize, my God, that hiss that I'm hearing, that pitch in the background, it's not random. It's trying to tell me something. There is intelligence in it. It's trying to communicate something. What is it trying to tell me? And as I focus and focus and attention, as I focus on it and focus on it, all of a sudden, I find myself in this white space. Meaning it felt very similar to the torsion field. There was this immense volume. I was not corporal. I didn't have a body. My awareness was there, but I was inside this immense white volume. Any questions, any comments?
Up here, Esther here.
Mm-hmm.
You remember a few months ago, I shared that in my dreams, I was having multiple dreams at the same time.
Mm.
Lately, there are still these stages there, for the different dreams.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm noticing, at least the last couple of times, that on the one that I'm closest to, it seems like there's just a stillness there. But then there's this thin veil, and on the other side of the veil is a lot of activity.
Mm. Okay, let me try to explain to you my experiences with the fan, what I call the fan. I don't have any other vocabulary to explain it. When you're experiencing multiple things at the same time. What you're experiencing at that moment, when you get to that place, it's that you are seeing multiple possibility for manifestation. A lot of times when I do the torsion field, like I'm doing 3 times a day, like this at practice, intense practice, what happened is that I get to a point where when I'm not doing it because I'm doing it morning, afternoon at some point and right before I go to bed. So what happened is that I am in the torsion field all day long because the afterglow remains. So if in between I'm talking to a client and I'm talking to someone and they're sharing something with me, what happened is that the torsion, they're not talking to me as an ego in 3D, Pierre, that lives wherever I am. They're actually talking to me as a multiple existing in Dharmata, in the real essence of God. And when they tell me their story, and people don't intend to do this, but we lie to ourselves all the time. And when they're telling me their story, then the fan shows up. Sometimes it's 3 things, sometimes it's 4 things, but there will be 1 or 2 of them that are going to be very focused and very highlighted. And what happened eventually, when you see all of them, then many of them will begin to dissipate. And then 2 or 3 of them will be highlighted. It means that if you're talking to a client about whatever it is happening, they're sharing with me their story, and I'm mentoring them. So it means that of all the possibility for the core, the root cause of what they're talking about, in 3D, it's cause and effect. 1 cause, 1 effect. Not so when you exist in that realm. The person is telling you 1 effect, and there could be multiple causes, multiple past life, multiple things that are happening at the same time. But each one exists at a certain potential for manifestation or potential for having effect in their life at this moment. In other words, it could be a past life. It could be an early childhood experience. It could be related to a family or a friend. It could be a karma. It could be all kinds of things. And the one that are remaining in focus are the one that are most likely causing the situation as it stands at this moment. Now, when I first began to have that experience with clients, I began to, as a good coach, a mentor would do, I began to be very panicked. Like, I saw 8 things and I can't remember, because what happened is at the moment 2 things come in focus, you're going to forget very quickly what the other things were. They're just going to, it's like a magic eraser, erase all of them. And I keep rocking my brain. After I speak with the client, I'm like, there were 2 things that came in prominent, in blah, 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 this is what I saw, but there were other things that I can't remember them. And I'm like, I'm bad, I should remember them. No, the field is taking them out, because let's use potential for manifestation. If you're seeing the future, the way it works is that several of these other things you're seeing may be 10%, 5%, okay, 20%, but the one that are 40 to 50%, or 35 to 20%, those are the one that are 1 or 2% are just going to fade away. Because potentially, again, the field will show you endless possibilities and solution set, because you're existing as a plurality. It's a different vocabulary, a different syntax, different language. You're existing as a being that can see everything all at once, that can experience everything all at once. So the field is going to show it to you, and it's going to reduce it to what is a possibility or what you should be focusing on, instead of trying to being distracted by trying to remember all of them all at the same time. Does that make any sense, Esther?
You know what? I think I think it might or could, and I would need to kind of, like you say, just let it settle in and see what happens or what comes up.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that, I guess on some levels actually does make sense, because it appears that the present screen of the dreams that I feel that's closest to me, because it is like a fan now. It's not horizontal. It's kind of, stars and moves are, and so where I am now, I mean, it seems like where the present of me in the dream, which I would say is the present moment, is the stage, and I'm gonna say stage of the fan, that seemed to be, it's calm, it's bright, and then there's this like this thin veil curtain that I can see through. And behind that curtain is activity that's not that clear yet. I see activity, but I can't really say clearly what that activity is, if that makes sense.
Yes. So you're experiencing as well, okay, this is what I call the emerging awareness. As we're asking, what am I not seeing? What am I not perceiving? This is the veil, the thinness of the veil that you need to break through to pass the serapine. Do you understand what I'm saying? The veil that you're seeing is actually the serapine. And you need to somehow, the veil will break at some point if you keep focusing on whatever it is that you're not seeing. That it seems for you, it's your dream. Your dream is your way in. That's your way in.
Yes, it happens in my dreams.
Yes, it's your way in. And so focus on that. And I've had experiences of being in the white space in my dreams as well. And when I go in, I don't have a body per se. Like Georgie has different experiences in meditation and prayer. He has a body. You can't see his face, but he has a body. I don't have a body. I'm almost like a ghost in that space. I know I'm there.
Mine is similar to you.
Yes.
I mean, I have a presence, but it's not
yes.
in the physical presence.
Yes, I don't have a physical body in it at all. And the veil, the thin membrane or veil that you're seeing, that's the emerging awareness that you need to move into. Keep focusing on this. This is the awareness that came to me, for example, when I was talking about what am I not hearing, and then I suddenly realized, wait a minute, that's hiss and that sound, that static I'm hearing. It's not just static. It's a language of some kind. It's trying to tell me something. And as I focus on it, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to tell me? And as I begin to focus, and all of a sudden, one day, I went right in. So focus on the veil and the activity. And as you focus on it, it's gonna take you right in.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Yes. But that doesn't discount the conversation we just had about the percentage. That part is true as well. That when you're experiencing these multiple things like a fan, they are not equally, the potential for them to be true or not equal. Some of them are at 5%, some of them are at 30%, some of them are at 40%. They have different weight. And what happens is that if you will see all of them all at once, and then some of them will begin to fade away. They will become less and less important, and they will close. I keep talking about the fan open up first and then the fan closing. And then it's two things. It just closes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? So It's not really hard. I don't want you to think. The hardest part is to just sit down and do the torsion field. That's the part that's the most complicated. Because there is once you begin to do it after a while, the 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 group body of the Guardian Alliance of Light, which is a gigantic group body, will be with you. The moment you begin to do it, you will begin to feel the neutrality and the axis, and you will begin to be shifted. Again, you don't have to do the long version. I ask you to do the long version once during the day. The rest of the time, keep doing the short version. Okay? It could be something you do in contemplation, or while you're doing your walking, or when you're warming up your car before you go out. You do the short version there. Sometimes I do it more than 3 times a day. Every time I start the car, I do a torsion field. You cannot overdo this. And then when you have the longer time to do it, that's when you typically go into that space. And the awareness of the multiple realities come around you. And eventually it will take you into, again, experiencing light in a completely different way. It's no longer linear. It's you dissolving and becoming, merging inside the light itself. I keep talking. I'm glad Esther talked about the veil, because what happened is that the veil dissolves eventually, and you enter into, you merge. The term I use all the time, that comes to me all the time, I feel like there's an emerging awareness that's beyond what I know in 3D. Everything that I've experienced in 3D, there's something else behind it. And I'm trying to get to that something. And the moment you get into it, literally all the wrinkles, all the kinks, everything in your life that is not right gets realigned. Everything gets realigned. And the solution set for them just show up. Healing, financial situation, you name it, it just gets realigned. And it will happen in the most miraculous and impossible ways. Without you sometimes even seeking it, it just shows up. It just shows up. You sense. I'm glad that Esther, you're talking about your dreams, and Bobby was about the water thing, and then because I don't want you I don't want all of you to think it's the hearing is the only way in. It's not. It depends on what's your dominant gift, and the gift will guide you into. And if you lean into it and focus into what exists beyond the awareness that the gift is giving you, it's going to lead you right into it. It's going to lead you right into it. To be perfectly honest, when I was listening, I could not figure out what was being said to me. I knew that the sound I was hearing, the pitch and the hiss and all that, was a way of communicating. I couldn't tell. I never understood the grammar or the syntax. It was not musical. It didn't sound like a pure symphony or harmony. It's all of a sudden, I'm paying attention to it. I said, oh, I'm not understanding it. Help me. Let me pay attention and stay quiet and stay still. Let me become perfectly still. And in the Gnostic teaching, they talk about the stillness all the time. You have to remain silent and still. Remain still. Remain completely silent and still. Enter into the rest and the stillness. And in the rest and the stillness, you go right in. For me, that was the key. It never articulated and changed into, let's say, voices and people singing. It was never that. I just remained still and still. I knew something, that whatever was emerging, whatever sound was emerging was trying to tell me something. And I lean into it and I pay attention. And suddenly, and this is not to say that since then I have not heard voices talking to me, because I'm clairaudient. Okay? I had an experience again. What am I not hearing? What am I not listening? And literally, somebody was sitting next to me, and uh, uh, Indian goddess was sitting next to me, whispering in my ear and talking to me. Literally, I could feel her leg pressed against mine, and she leaned against me and she began to whisper and talk to me in my ears. And this was a meditation. This was not a dream. This was a meditation. So, what I'm saying is that as I'm glad that all of you are bringing forward, because as you're doing this practice, your way of getting in is going to be different than mine. And however, it doesn't matter what it is, as you're asking this correct question: what am I not feeling? What am I not seeing? What am I not hearing? What am I not perceiving? And allow your consciousness to go to open up to, there's something behind what I'm experiencing right now that will take me into a multiplicity of experiences. And the moment you get there, it's going to shift for you, because the veil is going to open. My friends, I am telling you that you're so close to it that it's literally like right on the tip of your tongue. It's right there, because I know you're doing the practice. It's right there. You need to keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing the practice. I don't know what holiday schedule you have over the holidays. If you have a little bit more time, if you can spend more time doing the practice and more extended, particularly the longer version, at least one of them more extended, and with that consciousness in mind. Because what happened is that eventually you, aside from the multiplicity of experiences, it's going to take you to a point where you're going to find yourself inside this volume. And more important, inside the volume, you're going to be in a transcendental state where the problems and the issues that you're dealing with, that seems to be the biggest thing that you're dealing with, are going to show up. And not only show up, but the solution set for them are going to come to you. And it's going to be like exhaling. It's going to be that easy to solve them, like blinking your eyelid. No matter how big you think it is and how impossible you think it is, it's just going to come. And because in that field, in the blessed field, whatever your problem is, it's insignificant, because you're literally inside of God, because God is everywhere. You and God now have merged into one. The way to describe the surrender you need to get into to experience this is to talk about a murmuration or starling. I don't know if you know what starlings are. They are small birds that usually around dusk or early morning, who flies in flocks together and creating these incredible geometries, and they create this sound because of their wings. There could be millions of them at a time. And they surrender, and they are so close to each other, no bird ever claps into it, connect to each other. They exist now in a collective awareness. They have found a way to surrender their self. They can, when they are not in memoration, they can move and separate as their own individual self. But when they're in memoration, all of a sudden, they create these incredible geometries and never clash. No bird has ever hit each other. So the guardian alliance of light, by sharing with you at each dimension the neutrality and the rest that they know, they are creating, they are altering your consciousness from 3D progressively to a higher pitch, higher tone, until you get to a point where you should arrive at a place where you can finally surrender your ego and your attachment to the 3D world and let yourself go in murmuration with this entire blessed field where the solutions and the shape and the volume and everything that it takes is up to the collective consciousness, which is the entire awareness of God. And all the pieces that are inside of it are being blessed because it's a super intelligence. Any questions or any comments? All right, let's take a 5-minute break and then we'll do a closing meditation. 5 minutes. Take a very deep and slow breath. And as you inhale and exhale deeply and slowly, allow the universal life force that permeates everything to enter into your lungs. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let your soul and your awareness drop in the middle of your chest. Please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. Please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. Let your mind and your heart sync with each other. And notice what you noticed. And the guardian alliance of light approach me, offering to give me their shields of light and protection and a band of neutrality. If I am ready to accept this gift at this time, answer affirmatively. And let the energy of the first guardian begin in the core of the earth, counter-rotating, moving through the bottom of my feet, passing through my core, exiting outside of my head and into the top of the fourth dimensional body, and creating all around me. A torsion field of neutrality. Share with me the neutrality and the rest that you know. The axis at the top of your head extends, and it attracts now the energy of the second guardian coming in from the top of the fifth dimensional body, rotating clockwise, passing through the top of my head, moving through my core, exiting at the bottom of my feet, and going into the core of the earth while creating all around me a torsion field of neutrality. The axis at the bottom of my feet extends, and it attracts now the energy of the third guardian, rotating clockwise, coming in from the core of the earth, passing to the bottom of my feet, moving through my core, exiting outside of my head, exiting at the top of the sixth dimensional body, and creating all around me a torsion field of neutrality. Share with me the neutrality and the rest that you know. The axis at the top of my head extends, and it attracts now the energy of the fourth guardian, cascading down from souls, rotating clockwise, coming in at the top of the seventh dimensional body, moving into the top of my head, passing through my core, exiting at the bottom of my feet and going to the core of the earth and creating all around me. A torsion field of neutrality. The axis at the bottom of my feet extends. And it attracts now the energy of the fifth guardian coming in from the core of the earth, counter-rotating, passing through the bottom of my feet, moving through my core, exiting outside of my head, and going into the top of the eighth dimensional body and creating all around me. A torsion field of neutrality. The axis at the bottom of my feet extends, and it attracts now the energy of the fifth guardian, counter-rotating, coming in from the core of the earth, moving through the bottom of my feet, passing through my core, exiting outside of my head, and going into the top of the eighth dimensional body while creating all around me. The torsion field of neutrality. Share with me the neutrality and the rest that you know. The axis at the top of my head extends, and it attracts now the energy of the sixth guardian, rotating clockwise and coming in at the top of the ninth dimensional body, passing through the top of my head, moving through my core, exiting at the bottom of my feet,
and going into the core of the earth and creating all around me. The torsion field of neutrality. Share with me the neutrality and the rest that you know. The axis at the bottom of my feet extends, and it attracts now the energy of the seventh guardian, counter rotating, coming in from the core of the earth, moving through the bottom of my feet, passing through my core, exiting outside of my head, and going into the top of the 10th dimensional body, while creating all around me the torsion field of neutrality. The axis at the top of my head extends, and it attracts now the energy of the 8th guardian, rotating clockwise, passing through the top of my head, moving through my core, exiting at the bottom of my feet, and going into the core of the earth while creating all around me the torsion field of neutrality. Share with me the neutrality and the rest that you know. The axis at the bottom of my feet extends. And it attracts now the energy of the night guardian, counter-rotating, coming in from the core of the earth, moving through the bottom of my feet, passing through my core, exiting outside of my head, and going into the top of the 12th dimensional body while creating all around me a torsion field of neutrality. Share with me the neutrality and the rest that you know. The axis at the top of my head extends and it attracts now the energy of the 10th guardian, cascading down from the top of the 13th dimensional body, rotating clockwise, passing into the top of my head, moving through my core, exiting at the bottom of my feet, and going into the core of the earth and creating all around me. A torsion field of neutrality. Share with me the neutrality and the rest that you know. The axis at the bottom of your feet extends and it attracts now the energy of the 11th guardian, coming in from the core of the earth, counter-rotating. Moving through the bottom of my feet, passing through my core, exiting at the top of my head, and going into the top of the 14-dimensional body, and creating all around me the torsion field of neutrality. Share with me the neutrality and the rest that you know. The axis at the top of your head extends and it attracts down the energy of the 12 guardian, coming in from the top of the 15-dimensional body, rotating clockwise, passing through your core, moving through the top of my head, moving through me, exiting at the bottom of my feet, and going into the core of the earth, while creating all around me a torsion field of neutrality. What am I not seeing? What am I not feeling? What am I not sensing? What am I not hearing? deep and profound reverence for the gifts received. Take a very deep and slow breath. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, Pierre.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I want to thank all of you for listening tonight and for being part of my family. Thank you for your love, your support. Um, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support in Patreon. And I will talk to you. Um, we're going to be off between Christmas and New Year's. So on the 28th, we will not meet. We will meet on the January 4th. Okay? We'll be off for the holidays between Christmas and New Year. So we will meet, the next time we reconvene will be on January 4th. Thank you, everyone. Blessings.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.